In this video, the sun is actually shining, or something close to it. I could fix the rover, I could do something with the 2CV's wipers, but I'm actually going to do something on TWC, the Invacar. So let's go closer for a look at this very special little invalid carriage, as they were once called. These days we try to be a little more PC, I think, but I'll talk through what I'm going to be doing. So I've had various traumas with this engine, but the main one is she spat out a spark plug over on this side. So it just spat the plug straight out the head. I think the thread is damaged. I could try and get an insert of some sort in there, a repair insert. They do exist, but I don't think that's what I actually want to do. It may be possible, it may be not, but I have another engine over here. Here it is. This is TWC's original engine, and I think it makes more sense to just grab a good cylinder head, and maybe the other side, off this engine. You see I've managed to plug the ports, and we'll swap that over and see if that works. This is the one where the distributor seized, and I absolutely mullered the crankcase trying to get it out. Not one of my finer moments, but a slightly different oil filter setup on TWC's original engine. So we'll get that out and pull the cylinder head off it, I think. Because that's not the only problem we've got. The catch can has plenty of evidence of what else we got going on, and that's an oil leak, which I think I managed to get down to this oil cooler. There are some seals down here, so that should be an easy job to just pull that out, replace the seals. It was certainly bubbling up from there. There are tubes on the cylinder head for the return. In fact, there is one of them just visible down there. This is a return pipe for oil to make its way back to the block, and that's an issue. Also, while I'm here, I need to do something about these belts because they're slack as anything. I've got all the spacers out, but the belts are still super slack, so I've got an issue going on there. Not helped by the fact that this bottom plate on the engine has been pushed up by the exhaust, so I need to get the exhaust off as well. I still haven't got the lower cowling on the engine. I never managed to refit it because I realised it should have been fitted before the engine went in. That was my bad. So that might get done, it might not. You'll also notice the distributor is in pieces. The cap is over there at the moment. Again, I've been trying to free this up. I've been putting plenty of penetrating fluid on it, but I still can't get that distributor to move, and I'm not going to wallop it too hard because I'll just absolutely destroy it and have another completely knackered engine. I did actually ask Haflinger Technic if they got any spare 643cc engines, but they haven't got any complete. And while you can fit the pistons and barrels from the bigger engine to this crankcase, you have to machine the crankcase. So I think TWC is lethal enough. I mean, it's annoying, but one of the most common questions I get, or comments on TWC, is can you fit a Hayabusa engine? Why would I fit a motorbike engine to something that's already lethal? It's just entirely unnecessary. So I think stage one is going to be to get that engine out, and I think I'm going to see how much space is needed to get the cylinder head off, because as you can see, there isn't actually much working room because the engine is actually offset. It sits slightly nearer the right hand side. I might not actually have room to do the job. I might be alright, but that chassis rail may well get in the way. So that's job one. Job one is to assess how much space I need. If it turns out I do need a whole heap of space, then the engine is going to have to come out, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but yeah, we're going to get on with that. I'll just quickly talk about the other cars on the fleet. We'll just turn that lamp off for a moment. Let's start with the Rover. Now, when it comes to the Rover, I must thank the eagle-eyed amongst you who spotted that this is the connector that came off the back of the alternator, the brush and regulator pack. And I don't know if you can see, it has 3 prongs. And the eagle-eyed amongst you noticed that the one I'm trying to fit has 2 prongs. Now, you can actually fit a 2-prong alternator to a car that has 3-prong wiring, apparently, and that's fine. What you can't do is fit a 2-prong regulator pack to a 3-prong alternator. So I've given up on this replacing the brush pack idea. Because the slip rings where those brushes contact look very badly worn, we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to take whatever steps are necessary to get the sodding alternator out. So what we need to do to arrange access... Oh, I left my work lamp under here. That wasn't very sensible of me. And the battery is now entirely dead. Oops. Yeah, we're going to have to jack the engine up, take this engine mount off. The air con pulley needs to come off, which I think is this one. No, that's power steering. Anyway, one of the pulleys has got to come off to allow access to get in and take the alternator off. I've ordered a replacement good use second-hand one, which hopefully will be all right. I can't really justify buying a brand new alternator for this car because I don't think I'll be keeping it all that long into 2021. So we are going to crack on with that. We're awaiting the alternator. That needs to arrive. It could take a few days. And furthermore, Miss Hubnut herself is very busy with work. She's got her final 2 weeks at work before she joins me full time. So the Rover may have to wait, but that's all right. We're still in lockdown. We can't actually go anywhere. Myrtle and the Charade are doing very nicely. Thank you very much. As ways of keeping us mobile and what little bit of transport we needed. Ellie the 2CV, the wiper saga continues. And I've got a good used linkage, which I'm not going to fit. Because if you look at it, it's got exactly the same issue where it's almost going over centre. So that is clearly the design. That's just how they are. But at least I know I've got a good used motor. This needs stripping down, cleaning, painting and greasing before it goes back in. In fact, that back panel has got a bit bent and is touching the linkage. That's not meant to happen. So there's work to be done on that. That was a used item that cost £50 from my friend Simon Sobey at Tarks Parts. He was meant to send me a hose for my carburettor as well, the one that's held together with gaffer tape, but you seem to have forgotten that, Simon. Not to worry, I think the gaffer tape will hold a bit longer, but here is Ellie, sat out in the sun. I'm actually going to drive her home because we've got a few days of dry weather. Dry weather that almost makes me want to get the GSA out for a run, just because I don't like to leave cars sitting completely. I would like to get the GSA out, but we'll see how the week goes. Foxanne is awaiting parts. She's not road legal at the moment. She needs an MOT, but I would like to replace the front dampers and the front tie rod bushes. A few other jobs before Foxanne can go on the road. Choke cable is one of them as well. Need to sort that out. So that needs doing. But yeah, Giselle doesn't need anything other than paint as far as I know. And then this pair, I'm still not entirely sure how to proceed with this pair. I think the Altsit is too big a project for me, but the channel income is going up. Kind patrons, channel members, people buying stuff through the shop. The finances are improving. If I can use those finances to improve some dreadful cars, then so much the better. So I think that is my long-term aim for the Altsit, is that maybe I farm out quite a lot of the work on that, but we'll see. And the Sana, I still need to get to the bottom of the wiring. I haven't even been near it for weeks. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this pair. But for now, my focus is Tuck. So let's get the old engine out and see if we can get a cylinder head off it. Alright, I've been watching World's Strongest Man. Here is Tuck's original engine. Oh, it's interesting how much detritus and muck there was inside this engine. Hopefully the one we're removing isn't so bad. I can see it isn't so bad because I can see in it. Plus that engine's done quite a few miles now. Just while we're here, I'll bring you in for a closer look at the back. So this is the centrifugal clutch on the Invacar. As you speed up, these shoes spin out. I don't know if these are seized or if they're just really strong springs. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, centrifugal force forces these out. These catch a drum on the gearbox and you go forward. So this is attached to the flywheel. Very, very simple, but these can bounce a bit off the drum as it spins, which is why you sometimes get that clanging noise. So it's nothing to worry about, it's just these shoes. These shoes can delaminate, which causes issues, and obviously they can wear as well. But otherwise they tend to work quite well. So we're going to start by pulling off the rocker cover. Now tinkering time is also a bit of a premium this week for other reasons. That's probably going to drop oil everywhere. See if we can find a little container. The children are being home educated this week. They've got a couple of days off. The holidays aren't over for them yet. But yeah, the children are home educated from Wednesday. They've got a couple of days off. Of course, we don't really want to leave them at home all alone. And today, oh yeah, these rocker cover gaskets absolutely rock hard. So we've got some new gaskets, I believe, to go on. And these seals here. Yeah, the children keep on expressing interest in coming up here. The problem is that involves getting out of bed, and they seem a bit reluctant on that score. What do we need to do to get the cylinder head off? Just those 4? Cylinder head is all this up to here, so we'll have to do some cleaning. In fact, perhaps before I take the head off, it'd be a good idea to do some cleaning and get some of this mank out, a bit of degreaser, stiff brush. We'll get in there and clean it up a bit. I probably should have done that before taking the rocker cover off, to be fair. I might put it back on and do just that. Got some hyper clean engine degreaser. Should do the job, he says. Oh, that's good. I think my nozzle's got clogged. Welcome to my world. Well, this is a nice clean screwdriver. It'll be perfect for this job. We'll just start pulling some of this crud out. So this is just detritus from sitting in a field for 14 years with mice making nests in your engine. So lovely. Just while I'm doing this, I'm realising I'm going to have to do a bit more dismantling on Tuck's engine, because the cowling actually bolts to these cooling fins. So I can't remove the head while the cooling ducts are in place. So that's a mild annoyance. We've got to get the manifold off first of all. If nothing else, if I start stripping the engine out, if the engine does have to come out, at least it'll be lighter. That's my positive spin. Oh, I think I need to put that front tyre up a bit. You watch, the sun will go in now. Absolutely guarantee it. Oh, that'll do. Chucks away. I don't know if there's a problem with that transmission, because it occurs to me it probably shouldn't be that exhausting to push, but nonetheless, that's where we find ourselves. There we go. That's illuminated a bit better, I think. I know a lot of you have missed this little car, and so have I. She does so much with so little, because she's definitely not the best car that was ever made, but by heck, she's a lot of fun. I remove the spring, the return spring, and that should be the air filter assembly away. Oh, that's interesting. Ah, there we go. Air filter off. But the carburettor is moving around. That doesn't strike me as ideal. I think there's a nut loose there, which means an air leak. That would certainly affect performance. As mentioned in other videos, we do have plans for Tuck. She will be getting some form of improvement works during 2021, I hope, because she deserves it, because she does so much with so little. And now I think we're getting on to manifold, and they're going to have to come undone as well. I'm going to take the whole cross box assembly off and take those off. So we can remove the downpipes, because the downpipe has to come off on one side at least. Right, I'll come back to you once I'm getting the manifold off. I've managed to lose 2 nuts during the course of this job. Down there somewhere. Oh, there it is. That's nice and easy. Pardon for having everything's metal, so everything is attracted to the tool. There is one 12mm nut. There we go, I've got all of them. That's a relief. And that should be the manifold good to come off now. I can go there, that can turn off, and hopefully that is indeed manifold free. Yes, there we go. Oh, steady now. So the manifold is out, and like I was saying, the yeah, that nut has backed off down there. Sorry, I'm talking right into the microphone. So I think I'm going to do something about that now before I forget. I'm now wondering if I need to get the dyno start unit out of the way. So first of all, I need to crack this big nut here. There's a hole here so you can lock the fan, because the fan is driven by the engine via the belts. So if I lock that in place, I can then crack this big nut off, if I can remember what the big nut is. It's like 3 years since I worked on this car. 27 seems familiar. And verily it is so. So if we get the breaker bar, or wheel brace, whatever you want to call it, and a big screwdriver, don't forget the big screwdriver, should be able to lock that in there, and then this should turn and undo. There we go. So like I say, these spacers should be able to alter the pitch. The more spaces you put between these, like on a Volkswagen, the looser the belt fit. But when they're all on the outside, it means the belt should be as tight as possible, and it quite clearly isn't. Oh, that sounds dry, madam. Then we can take all the spacers out, and there are the belts, which are trap body exhaust, so can't go anywhere else. And now we need to undo this big nut at the top. So this is the main positive feed. Naturally the battery is already disconnected. So it's a dyno start unit. It's either charging the car or starting it. It does manage to do both. Yeah, the problem with trying to do an insert is I think it's so difficult to get at it in the engine. There's a good chance you're going to screw it up and not get it in straight. So I think the head has got to come off, whether it's repair or replace. Oh, I forgot the little wires on the bottom. They're 8mm. By the look of those. There we go, and the dyno start is out. Let's get those. There we go, that's that out the way. Oh, God, took us about half the weight now. It's like I was saying, get all this stuff off, the engine becomes much lighter. And I'm now wondering whether to get the oil filler out of the way here, because that's going to be right in my way. Right, I've got oil filler neck off. I've undone all the little bolts to the cowling, which I think is now free, but what's actually blocking it now is the rocker cover and the rocker cover pipes. I mean, I'm really bad. These haven't been off since I put the engine together when it first went in. So that makes it apparent that I haven't checked the valve clearances or anything of that ilk. Oh dear, that is, yeah, there it goes. Come in now. Drop in a little oil, work our way around the fuel pump, and there we go. Oh, that looks like it was leaking from that hole, in fact. But there we go, that's the rocker cover off. And now we can have a look at the cylinder head. Now can I get the cowling off? This cowling still doesn't really seem to want to come off. We've got that little piece there, so now separated front to back. Ah! There's a piece going all the way through, so another 8mm to come off there. I remember this cowling being an absolute nightmare. There are so many bolts, most of which you can't find. And there we go, that's the front panel away. That's that way as well. We'll just fling that over the other side. It's still attached to the heater hose at the moment. And exhaust is the next thing we need to undo. This exhaust system is worryingly rusty. And it's worrying because you can't really get replacements. Hammer Dynamics. Oh gosh, that doesn't want to come off. Yeah, I remember how this goes. It basically doesn't. Let's move my fan bits and bobs out of the way, and we can start deploying violence. Oh, there we go. One frustratingly rusty exhaust off, because this is a heat exchanger as well. It's what the pipes for engine heat gets blown through the exhaust to make it even hotter, and then into the cabin. That was a new old stock replacement and one of the more expensive bits. That cost 80 quid. But now getting to the stage we can get the cylinder head off and take the exhaust clamp off. I do think I need some new ones of those. I think I'm going to see if I've got room to do it in here. There we go, that's 4 13mm nuts and big chunky washers. And like the 2CV, there are big long studs, worryingly rusty studs, that go right through the cooling fins into the block. Our next challenge is that obviously cylinder heads tend not to come off very often. So I'm going to take the big hammer in, but only some gentle taps. You can't go too crazy levering on the fins or things tend to snap off, as I know from personal experience. There we go, there's a bit of fin breaking off, so that's not going to work. Try the old penetrating oil again, I guess. The aluminium onto a cast barrel here. That is the problem. I really don't want to pull the whole barrel out. I want the barrel to stay in on the engine because that's got the piston in it. Oh yeah. See separation going on there. I think we're definitely getting somewhere. It's just encouraging it this last little bit. Ah, there we go. I've achieved separation of cylinder head. Oh, you're miles away. And the barrel. So hopefully I can now get this off. Oh jeepers, that still doesn't really want to fly out of there, does it? Unfortunately, it has gone as badly as I feared, and I was right. There isn't room. There's still too much left on the threads, so I'm going to have to try and encourage this back on again, and then I'm going to have to remove the whole engine, I think. Pondering if I can loosen mounts and get away with just tipping the engine slightly. May have a look at that, but to be honest, I think I'm going to go home today, and we'll call that one done for now. It's turning into a lovely evening, but the sun is starting to think about going away, so I think now is the time to bring this one to a halt, I think. But yeah, it's been a merry afternoon's tinkering. See if we can get back on it again tomorrow. I'm going to pause this video there because I've recorded loads of footage already, but that's the stage we got to. We've got the cylinder head almost off. I'm slightly worried about getting this head off, because they do seem to seize very well. Maybe the studs do thicken out and then go thin again. But getting this one off might also be a challenge. Made more challenging because this engine is not attached to anything. So plenty to keep you occupied in part 2. So do watch out for it. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry, I've just had a cup of really cold water. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, further adventures of TWC as and when we can sort it out and hopefully get the old girl up and running again. See you in a future video.